You got to help me then. Claire was sitting on my lap, so I'm going to blame it on her.
Absolutely. I'll make my official announcements while you guys are setting up. Just a reminder, everybody, if you would, mute your cell phones. I need to check mine. Yes, it is. You cannot record this press conference or stream it, and no flash photography. If you're on Zoom, please use your raise hand function. If you're here and you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for the microphone so we can get the audio of the question on as well. Our press conferences are available on asapsports.com. I will wait for Michigan State to get plugged in before we start. Is that all right, Coach?
I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll introduce our student athletes who will go first. Grace Van Sluten over here on the my far right, and Julia Aralt. I guess if anybody has any questions to start things off, we'll get it cranked, and then Coach will join us after the first 15 minutes of the press conference, 15 or so minutes of the press conference. Questions? Bob from the AP?
Bob Sutton with the Associated Press for both players. Looks like they had some tough going down the stretch of the regular season, playing some tough opponents. What do you think things will, you've solved some of those issues maybe over the last week or so?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was a tough stretch. I think it was really competitive, kind of felt like March Madness games, honestly. So I think it really prepared us, and I think we had a really good week of practice, and we're all feeling really confident going in.
Julia?
Yeah, kind of just like Grace said, I think Coach Fralick's talked a lot about we've played a lot of games that feel like tournament games, and obviously the Big Ten is where it is right now, so I think that helps us a lot. And I think just being in games like that constantly is like back-to-back, just tournament-style, really competitive games, which I think helps our confidence. And then, we obviously had some close ones that we want to get over that hump and just move forward, and kind of the same thing. We're feeling pretty good after a really good week of practice. So.
For both of you guys as student athletes, the addition of USC and UCLA, I know for you, Grace, it had to be a little odd coming from Oregon to all of a sudden see some of your former Pac-12 opponents. What's it been like to have them in your league, and they're two #1 seeds? They obviously have raised the level of play in the Big Ten. Grace, we'll start with you.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, they're both really good teams, definitely raised the level of competition. But yeah, it's definitely weird to be playing them at a different school and not back on the West Coast. But it's always really fun to play them. They always have really great players, and it's always a really competitive game. And yeah, just a lot of fun.
What was it like for you, Julia?
I think obviously both teams add a level of just challenge and competition to our league. I think they both obviously did a really good job this season, and it was really cool to go out there and kind of get to experience, their campuses and just the different environment of playing out in California. So it was really good. I think, just like Grace said again, I mean, they've raised the level of the Big Ten, and I think it's good for our league for sure.
Bob?
What do you think you gained from last year's tournament experience in the one round that you played, and how that will help you perhaps this week?
I'd say I think our main focus this week was, Coach Fralick talks about winning the weight, meaning like using this time as really just a really beneficial time for us to work on us. And I think this last week and a half, 2 weeks of practice have been really, really good for us. I think we've had a really high focus and got opportunity to play a little bit, which is also good, just so we're not coming in after a long break without having any games. So it was really a highly competitive week for us, and I think just being ready to go from the jump. I think last year we got off to a slow start and kind of dug ourselves a hole, so just kind of being ready when the ball tips and just being fired up and ready to go for the tournament. I think we're really excited for it.
Grace, for you, is this your first NCAA tournament?
It is.
What are your expectations, and what kind of feedback have you gotten from those young ladies who have been able to play in the tournament?
It just seems like a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I know it's going to be really competitive. Everybody's going to be playing their best basketball. And yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited. Everything I've heard about it is really positive and just a really great experience.
Julia, you give her any advice?
I mean, keep doing what she's doing. She's been playing her butt off, and just really excited for her and excited for us. And I think just keeping confidence up and getting ready to play hard and taking one game at a time.
Over here to the left.
Dalton Shetler, Michigan State Radio. Julia, and for Grace too. Julia, you talked about winning the weight, and that's been the message from Robin here in the last week and a half after the Big Ten tournament. What are the things as you kind of hit the reset button during that week and a half or whatever and took a look at things and started to work on things? What were some of those that you came away really impressed with during the week for both of you? But you start, Julia.
I'd say two things that stick out to me that kind of Coach Freilich has mentioned is just our confidence and then just, our ability to just keep pushing through everything. I think we've had a lot of games where we've shown a lot of fight, and so just kind of starting our games off strong and coming into the tournament with confidence. I think, that's something she's touched on a lot is, just doing the things we need to do to win, but also the belief in ourselves and each other and doing it together. I think, that just really stands out to me, and I think we always talk about when we're together, that's when we're at our best and our strongest. So I think those are things this week that I've thought a lot about and just appreciated Coach's intent and really focusing on those things.
Grace?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same. We had a few competition days over the break, and I think those were really fun for us. We kind of got to go at each other a little bit and, really get that competitive fire back and, have a lot of fun. It's important to not forget to have fun while you're playing. And, yesterday she was talking about how our confidence comes from toughness, and I think that really makes a lot of sense, especially in March. It's a lot of times you see the tougher teams win. They come out on top, so I think just being the tougher team matters a lot right now.
Just to follow up that with both of you, and Grace, we'll start with you. Unlike the men's tournament, you guys get a week off in between. This late in the year when everybody's kind of banged up, mentally you're drained, how refreshing is it to get a little time away where you can just take a deep breath and then take it into March?
Yeah, it was great. We spent a lot of those days doing just individual workouts or small group workouts, kind of getting that confidence back and, really just getting a really good workout in. And Coach Freilich said yesterday that at the end of the year, this is when you actually need to ramp up your training. So I think we spent a lot of time doing that and really gave me a lot of confidence, and I'm sure a lot of other people a lot of confidence just to get that work in and get those reps, because confidence comes from reps and, just see the ball go through the hoop.
Julia?
Yeah, I think similar, just, we've talked about, just fighting through that, but also, using it as a good little refresher, but also just attacking that week. And I think, Coach Freilich and staff have done a tremendous job just having us really just attack the days, when we're on and in practice, we went hard. And I think it's easy to kind of want to take rest time because you can, but I think kind of just like Grace said, this is a time where you can separate and really just ramp things up and be competitive, and I think they did a great job of that. And kind of like we've been saying, just helps a lot with our confidence and our readiness, and I just think after the week we had, we feel good.
Anybody else? I do have one question about your opponent. There is a lot of talent in the Big Ten. What's your evaluation of Harvard's guard, Harmony Turner? Julia? No, it doesn't matter. You can go ahead. I was just trying to see who was on camera.
I was just going to say she's a great player. I think she's really important to focus on and, do our best to kind of contain her as much as possible. But, all positive things to say about her. She's really good. And, watching film on her, it's just, I don't know, I haven't really experienced playing somebody with that much confidence. And, she goes out there and she fights hard and she wants to win, and it's clear to see that in every game she plays. So I think it's really important to do a really good job on her, and I think it's definitely going to be a challenge for us.
Julia?
Yeah, similar things. I think we've talked about just her effort and watch her crash the O boards and stuff, and just, you can tell, just like Grace said, she wants to win, and obviously she's really talented alongside of that, so it's a good combination. And like Grace said, again, just got to do a good job of containing her and limiting things that she does.
Final question from me, and if no one else has a question, then Bob. Yeah.
I'll ask one real quick. When Raleigh popped up as your assignment, did that mean anything to either one of you and any of these other teams here? Are you familiar with anybody, or are you kind of coming in blind on all that?
I mean, I was excited to go somewhere with some sunshine. That was important. But I also know one of the players on Harvard. I played AAU with her all 3 years. So Gabby Anderson, one of their starters. I know her really well. Went to high school with her too. So I'm really excited to see her and just kind of face off, because we never thought we would really play each other. She's in the Ivy League and Big Ten. So really excited to see her.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, so I mean, you're playing on opposite coasts for
Yeah.
a good chunk of the time, so that is a neat reunion, I guess, for you.
Yeah, really excited. One of my best friends, honestly, we played together at IMG my senior year, so we got really close during my time there, and I'm just really excited to see her. She's got a great family that we're still close with, and honestly talk almost every day, so really excited to see her.
Yeah, over here to the left.
I got one for each. Julia, I'll start with you. This is your third trip around in the Big Dance, March Madness. What is it about this specific team? What kind of characteristics is it that makes you believe that this group has a kind of run in it? What is it about the makeup of this group, that makes you believe in them?
Honestly, I just think my confidence overall in everybody is really, really high. I know, talking with Coach Freilich last week, I'm like, I just love when everyone's just clicking and just like, this person's having a great night, this person's having a great night. It's just exciting, and I think that can be something that can separate us. Is just, I think on any given night, it can be any one of our nights, and I think that's awesome, because it's just, we have a lot of different pieces that work together, and obviously just a lot of talent across the board, and I think that's what makes us strong, is just kind of, like I said, top to bottom. I think everyone is really skilled and just can really just perform and have a great night. So I think that kind of makes us dangerous in the sense of, like, whoever's night it is, let's do it and let's roll with it, and we're in it together. And I think that's what excites me the most, to be honest.
Grace, I know we've talked a little bit about this being your first trip to the Big Dance, but rehashing the excitement it was to see the name on Selection Sunday pop up for Michigan State, and now you sit here and you got the March Madness backdrop, all the March Madness logos around, and you're actually in it. What kind of, is there any nostalgia it brings up from watching this as a kid, and now you get to be a part of it?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of nostalgia. I'm also just really excited. I think my past 2 years, I'd see it all over my social media and, just kind of be jealous of everybody that got to come here. So I'm just really excited, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's one of the reasons I came to Michigan State, is I told them, like, I want to be in the March Madness tournament. And, I'm really happy that we got here, and I'm just, excited to play tomorrow.
Any more questions in the room? All right. Grace and Julia, nice job. Congratulations and welcome to the NCAA tournament.
Thank you.
You are excused.
Thank you.
We will have copies of this press conference available if anyone needs it on ncaa.veritone.com. Also, transcripts are provided by asapsports.com. Give it a few minutes. It won't be up right away, but we'll get it there eventually. What a group.
They're awesome.
What a group.
Yeah, they're great.
We're going to go ahead and get started with Coach Freilich, if that's okay with everybody. If we have somebody join us from Zoom, that's fine too. But Coach, any thoughts when you sit here and listen to the vast contrast of experience in the tournament, one that's never played and one that has in the last two? What are your thoughts when you try to mesh these two together to try not to make it too big of a moment, but also appreciate the moment?
That's the beautiful thing about being a team, right? We have freshmen. We have Julia, who this is her third NCAA. We have, Jaden Simmons, who transferred to us, and Grace, who a big reason they came to Michigan State was they wanted to play in the tournament. So I love the variety, as a staff, too. I love what you said. It's like you have to embrace the moment, but you can't make it bigger or smaller than it is. So I think Julia's done a really good job with our team also of leading the way with that, with her voice, with her actions, and with her experience.
Yes, sir.
During your press conference after Selection Sunday, you had mentioned that in year one of your era making the tournament, there was a lot of jubilation, just excitement to be there. This year you see the name pop up and you kind of said, okay, we know the assignment now, we can get to work. You also said the staff, the players, everybody learned something from year one that they're applying to year two. What are some of those things for the staff that you're looking to apply in year two here?
You always are learning, and I think you shared it, Dalton, that last year there was such an excitement about making it. I mean, I think going into last year's season, nobody thought we'd make the tournament, right? And so there's a real appreciation behind that. And then all of a sudden the game starts and it's like, oh baby, we got to play better than this, especially to start the game. And the time we have between is interesting. I think that's pretty unique. When I was a Division II head coach, there wasn't a big gap between when you finished the regular season and when the tournament started. So as a staff, we learned, okay, what do we do with that time? How do we make the most of it? What does this team need? What do we need to be ready to play when the game lights go on? And those are things you write down, right? And those are things you take note of. And moving forward, you hope you learn and can do better.
Back right over here.
I'm Julian. I'm from the Globe, and I'm sorry if somebody has asked this to you already, but Carrie has very fond memories of you. One of you flexing every time she was walk on the court. Whenever
That's good. I don't remember that.
Step on the starting lineups. But I was wondering if you could share some of your memories of her. It was your grad assistant days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you could share some of your memories, and also, your journeys now that you're meeting here.
Yeah. Yeah. So small basketball world. I was a graduate assistant at Western Michigan a while ago, and Carrie played, and Carrie was the leading scorer in the country, just a elite player, elite person, elite student. So I look back and people are like, what do you remember? I was like, I don't think I knew anything, right? I think I helped with food orders. I officiated practice, and I knew Carrie was really good. But I love that. It's pretty full circle that we're now, across from each other on sidelines. She's done a tremendous job, which is no surprise. Everywhere she's been, whether as a player, as a coach, she's put excellence into it. So from our flexing days to coaching against each other on the sidelines, it's pretty cool that this has all kind of transpired.
She talked a lot as a player. Do you remember any of her style-wise as a player, or what personality was like?
I remember she got pretty mad at my officiating in practice. So, she's probably right, but I stood strong.
I do have a question from kind of an X's and O's standpoint. You guys are one of the top scoring teams in the country. Harvard is one of the stingiest defenses in the country, top 4 in scoring defense. What kind of gives there, and how do you try to increase the number of points that they're giving up from what they normally give up?
Yeah, that's a challenge in front of us. I think they've been a very good defensive team consistently throughout the season. I think, coming off the Big Ten tournament, Iowa was really good. We were pretty disappointed with how we played. And one of the biggest things was just shot selection and quality of shot and, doing a better job of making the defense work. And, those are things that you come off that and you got to do better. And we've had a little time to focus on that. But I don't think there's any magic wand. I think we're going to have to play good basketball, and we're going to have to take good care of the ball and get good shots and get some more of them.
Bob?
Yeah, Robin, when I asked the players if they were familiar with anybody, obviously I saw you perk up right away because you have a situation as well. Is it kind of the neat thing about this tournament that I guess you can just bring 4 teams from around the country to one spot and there's all these connections are still there? Is that unique or special?
It is. I love that about this tournament. I loved, when we went into Selection Sunday, we really had no idea who we were going to play. A lot of teams, I think, have I think our men's team, who they were predicted to play, they were playing, right? So, and with our team, we really didn't know. And kind of another small world is I played at Davidson College when Wes was the coach at Chattanooga, which was a while ago. So the basketball world becomes small pretty fast.
You were both in the Southern Conference?
Yeah, we were both Southern Conference.
Did you ever play a game in Reynolds Coliseum while you were at Davidson?
I didn't. So we played at Duke and we played at Carolina, but we never played at NC State. I don't know why.
Yes, sir.
This is Julian again from the Globe. She was talking to us about style-wise, just like you guys are very similar to like a team they played before, and similar to them in that you press a ton. One, is there anything you've seen just because they've seen it against Columbia a few times this year? and how they've handled the press, whether it's better over the course of the season, and then how you adjust yours. And then, two, is that just kind of a Michigan thing? Because she adopted the press, and she likes that gritty kind of get-in-you kind of defense, and I wasn't sure if that was just kind of like a personality trait where we're going to sit down and try to get stops, you know?
Maybe it's a Michigan thing, a little blue collar. Yeah, with our press, I mean, I think, they do it too. I think we have a number of different presses we use. It's kind of up to us and our kids to make sure it's effective. Night in and night out, I think that looks a little different depending on who we're playing. How did the press come about? Actually interesting, when I was a Division II head coach, we had a really good team, and I felt like every game we were getting everybody's best game, and we were going up against so many different defenses, and the game was just harder than I felt like it had to be. And, that next season, I just decided, we're going to set the tone for the game, and we're going to be more aggressive, and we're going to increase possessions. And so that's kind of how it came about, too. My husband was a high school varsity boys coach, and they pressed, and so I actually learned a lot from him. I've learned a lot from high school coaches about how to do that, how to kind of be effective and change it up. But game to game, I think it's a little different, team to team, personnel. So those are things we're going to have to pay attention to throughout the game.
A little question for you. Was it a little odd to have to plan a road trip to play a conference game against USC and UCLA? In the Big Ten.
Yeah, the good news is our Dobo does all that and did a great job with it. But totally new league. I mean, 18-team league, 12 in the tournament, 2 number 1 seeds. The 4 teams we added are all NCAA tournament teams. So I always said the Big Ten was good, and we decided to go and make it even better. But it's coast to coast. I think we have a national print across the whole country. Some of the best players in the whole country play in our league. So if you really love basketball, if you really love a challenge, the league's has only increased in that.
One more question to the left.
Wanted to ask about Harvard a little bit and kind of going off of that. I mean, you went against Juju Watkins. You went against some of the most elite scorers there is. Mm-hmm. But when you put the tape on, you see Harmony Turner.
Yeah.
Maybe her the amount of percentage that she has the ball in her hands and is such a dominant hand. Is there anything comparable that you've faced all season to Harmony Turner and what Harvard provides?
Some things, like definitely a high usage, really good player. I think she's as good as advertised, right? I mean, we had heard about her and read about her. She had an amazing Ivy League season and tournament. And then putting film, like she's an elite competitor, great speed, 3-level scorer. So, you think of the best guards in the Big Ten, and you can definitely see overlap.
Anybody else? All right, Coach Freilich. Welcome to the NCAA Tournament. Appreciate your time.
All right, go green.
Michigan State will practice at 1:10. The first 15 minutes are open for the media.